If you want something badly enough, you'll do whatever it takes to get it. And if you didn't get it, you didn't want it badly enough. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rogan, and this is This Bahamian Gyal, home of big hair, bold looks, and big laughs. I show you how to break the internet without breaking the bank. So earlier this week, I saw an episode of Tamron Hall's show. Full disclosure, I don't watch Tamron Hall's show like that, but it is a program that comes on immediately after I finish watching The Reel. And usually I will switch the channel and go to the next station. But this time I stayed put because she was interviewing some amazing human beings, some wonderful people who are entrepreneurs, who followed their dreams, followed their hearts despite the naysayers, despite the circumstances. When they had moments of self-doubt, they still persevered and made it through to the other side. And those types of topics really intrigue me, they interest me. And so Tamron Hall really managed to hold on to me for that whole hour's episode. So I thought it would be really good to talk to you guys about dreams and how not to give up on your dreams, and more importantly, how to not give up on yourself. So if this is something that interests you and we're going to be having a frank conversation, please continue watching. This week I started off in tears, in absolute tears, guys. And I'll tell you why. There was a gentleman by the name of Chris Donovan, and he runs this business called Chris Donovan Footwear. He's a shoe designer for women, and his story had me in tears. He talked about being a blue-collar worker all his life, but always feeling this thing inside of him, that there was supposed to be more. You know, he would always look at women's shoes and just be in awe about how they looked, the detail that goes into making shoes, and that just was always in his heart. So he went back to school in Italy, I believe, and he was 55 years old. He was like one of the oldest, I don't know if he was the oldest, but definitely one of the oldest students in this school to learn how to make shoes. And it was a very difficult trek for him. It was very difficult. He had some problems with a visa, just all kinds of drama. If you guys haven't seen that episode, please, I encourage you to watch that episode. And I really enjoyed it, but it was something that he said that just absolutely brought me to tears. Like the water just flew out of my eyes. And Tamron was asking him, why did you feel the need to do this? You were of a certain age, yada yada. And he said, quote, "If I didn't do it, the regret would have been awful. If I didn't do it, the regret would have been awful." And the minute the last syllable of awful came out of his mouth, the tears just started flowing. And I had to walk away from the TV. I missed a portion of the interview because it was just such an emotional ride for me. Because I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to, the feeling of regret. There are so many of you who are watching this channel right now who have dreams in your heart, things that you want to see come to pass, and they haven't happened, and you think, well, I don't come from the right background, I don't have the right last name, I don't have the right bank account, I don't have, I'm too old, whatever it is that you're feeling, these things are keeping you back from pursuing your dream. And so this week I thought, I would divert from my regularly scheduled program and do a video on how to not give up on yourself and how to not give up on your dreams. So let's just get into it. But before I do that, don't forget to give this video a big like if you like it. If you don't like it, do the thumbs down, and I want to hear feedback down below in the comment section. It's really important for that dialogue. I like to hear dissenting voices. I'm not one of those people who just wants to see the thumbs up or just see the positive things. I want people to be really real with me in the comment section, because it's a conversation, and y'all are my people, so let's just have that conversation. But there are so many people who, and myself included, who feel a level of fear about following their dreams, the very thing that God put into their heart. And it's not easy, especially when you, like I said earlier, don't have the right name, the right bank account. You feel like you're a certain age. I'm too old to do this. I'm too old to go after my dream. And it's just absolutely nuts. And so I want to talk about the ways that people sort of sabotage themselves and why they should pursue those dreams. Because when you're laying on your deathbed and you're thinking back on your life, do you really want to go into the afterlife knowing wow, I could have done this very simple thing and I didn't do it because I was scared. Some of the things, fear for me, a lot of fear exists in the mind and nothing more, just in the mind. Because when you actually look at it, especially if you decide to do something, you go, what the hell was I scared of? I was never somebody who was fearful of public speaking. That was always my thing, like I could do it. But what I was fearful of was having conversations one-on-one or in a group setting, because I'm an introvert. And so that would give me great anxiety. Like I never, ever wanted that. But so I have to think about that when I think about people and their fear of speaking, public speaking. But as it relates to your dreams, I think it's important to be honest with yourself and say what it is that you feel like you have to pursue in this life, this one life that we've got. I know so many people who do jobs every single day that they absolutely despise. They absolutely detest these jobs. They go there to make a salary. There's no level of fulfillment. It's just the day in, day out rigors of working this job, just doing it to get a paycheck. And they hate it. And that to me has never been living. That's never been something that I'm interested in. And it always sort of scares me to know that that could be a life that I could have if I'm not if I choose to not follow my heart or follow my dreams. That doesn't impress me. Like when people say I'm just trying to get by to get my pension, that stuff, like I just kind of like look over like, whoa, I never want that to be me. So let's talk about the ways that people sabotage themselves when it comes to pursuing their dreams and why they're so afraid to pursue their dreams. And let's start with the latter, actually, why people are so afraid to pursue their dreams. Number one, people don't want to be uncomfortable. Plain and simple, they do not want to be uncomfortable. Pursuing your dreams takes guts, but it also takes great sacrifice. So if you already have a family and you have a house, a mortgage you're paying for, you know, you're comfortable being able to go on those family vacations and do all those things, you know, it's not a sexy thought to say, okay, let me put my family, you know, through the rigors, or you know, to pursue this dream. I think about people like, and I have to use them as an example because these are real risk takers. And I hate to use celebrities, but I am going to use a celebrity. I think about people like Matthew Knowles, right? And Tina Knowles Lawson. Well, when she was married to Matthew, Tina Knowles. They made tremendous sacrifices for their family and for their daughters. I remember reading the story of Matthew being like an executive. I guess he was making over six figures, you know, at Xerox or somewhere. And, you know, Beyonce's mother, Solange's mother, had like a headliners or headlines salon in Houston, Texas, and it was doing well. But can you imagine Matthew coming home and saying he wants to manage their daughter, and, you know, he sees the potential in her to be like a superstar, and the mother's like, okay, but what are we going to do with this? And he's like, well, you know, I'm going to quit my job so I can manage my daughter. What? What are you talking about? You know, that requires discomfort. That requires you being uncomfortable. That's a huge risk to say I'm putting it all in to say I'm putting it all in your kid, like he did. But if he didn't take that risk, what we have had, the girl group Destiny's Child, we have known Beyonce, what we have known Solange and Kelly Rowland and Latavia and Latoya, we have known all these wonderful women who came out of that group. If he didn't take the risk, if his wife didn't go along with the plan, that's a huge risk. But that's, and Beyonce always speaks about the fact that, you know, their life had to be downsized tremendously because of the risk that her father was taking. But I thank him for taking that risk, because we wouldn't have had such an extraordinary talent in the world had he not made those sacrifices. So I think when you're pursuing your dream, or you're trying to help somebody pursue their dream, especially if it's your child or your spouse or whatever, you know, it comes with a lot of risks, and people just aren't willing to do that. And that's an unfortunate thing. I understand that bills have to be paid and people have to be taken care of, but you have this one life to live. So what are you going to do with it? I think it's important to know that that very thing that you can't live without, the thing that consumes your mind every single night, is the thing that you should be pursuing. I remember working as a journalist years ago. And I remember in my early 20s, I had an editor, and she was passionate about journalism. I mean, she lived for it. She breathed it. She slept, you know, and thought about it and dreamt about it. And I remember one time she came into the newsroom, and she always, you know, I give her props. She would always say, "You're such a great writer, Rogan, but do you love this? Do you love this? I was like, I could take it or leave it. She says, I could see that. Even though I had the talent to do it, it didn't mean anything to me. It wasn't my passion. It was just something I was good at. And she was like, when you go home at night and you're going to sleep, are you thinking about stories? I was like, no, I'm not thinking about stories, because that's the last thing I want to think about. I think about creating stories all day. So that's the last thing I want to do. And I realized exactly where she's coming from. Like, now that I think about it, when you are so in love with something that it consumes you, you go home and you could be staring at the ceiling and thinking about that very thing. Whether it's cooking, if you're a wonderful cook and you work a 9-to-5 job where you're a secretary, receptionist, or whatever, all you're thinking about is wonderful recipes that you could come up with. You know, that's the thing that consumes you. Then that's the thing that you should be pursuing. And a lot of people don't do that. I think when pursuing your dream as well, you have to really be fearless and not care about what it is that people are going to say about you. I've done a lot of things in my life that people go, what the hell is she doing? What even this channel that you guys are watching today. I know I've had journalism colleagues say, what are you doing with this channel? Why are you doing skits and makeup reviews and all that stuff? You're a serious journalist. What are you doing? I'm living my life. I'm doing what I want to do. You know, there are serious journalists who have a sense of humor and they do different things. Why should I just be confined to just writing stories or doing broadcasts or whatever? That's a part of who I am. That's a part of what I do. But that's not the essence of who I am. And if that doesn't make me happy, I'm not going to do it. But you have to be prepared to listen. You have to be prepared to hear from people who are going to be naysayers, who are going to say, what the heck are you doing? Who are going to try to discourage you, who are going to make you seem like you're crazy from wanting to pursue this very thing that you're pursuing. And you have to ignore it. It comes with the territory. That's just the way it is. I don't think people always do it to be mean. I think some people just truly cannot understand it, and it's not for them to understand because they're not in it. And it's not a dream in their heart. YouTube is not a dream of mine. It's to facilitate something that I have in my heart. And that's it. But it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. And you have to enjoy something like this, because to get up, to get dressed, to record a video, to edit a video, to wait and upload. If anybody knows about uploading to YouTube, you all know how long that process takes. You have to have a serious love for it. If not, you're going to fall by the wayside. But you cannot care what people say. You can hear them out. You know, you can hear what they have to say, but do not let it consume you, and don't let their thoughts and their insecurities and their fears get in your head, because the minute that happens, your dream starts to die. And this is why you have to be so very careful about who you share your dream with. And you guys have heard this a million times. I'm not putting you on to anything new that you have not heard. You really do have to be careful about who you share your dreams with. And I'm not advocating not sharing your dream with people, because you do need people to keep you accountable. You do need people to rally behind you. If you have to hide your dreams from certain people, then they're not your people. They're not your people, plain and simple. I have my family members and my small group of friends that I really love and trust, and I know that they love and trust me, and so they're going to root for me. They're going to give me tips on how I can achieve my dreams. If you don't have that kind of core group around you, then you really do need to keep these things to yourself, because people will destroy your ego. They will destroy your emotions. They will destroy your thoughts. I'm not kidding. They will destroy your dream. And so you have to be very careful who you're sharing these things with. I think what bothers me is that there are some people out there who just like to talk about their dream, and there's absolutely no action behind it. You know, in rap, they have this saying that, you know, I don't like to dream about getting paid. And I totally agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, because it's like, what am I sitting back just dreaming about getting paid for when I can actually do something that gets me paid? And if you have a dream to do whatever it is, why are you just dreaming about it? Where's the action behind it? I find that people will say they want something, but they're not prepared to do the work. They're not prepared, again, to be uncomfortable. There's a lot of lazy people who want their dreams to come to pass. They don't want to do what it takes. And that doesn't happen. Yeah, you have those overnight successes, those people who just kind of hit, they go viral real quick for whatever reason. But let me tell you the truth. Most overnight successes took 10, 15, 20 years to get there. It just looks like, you know, they were an overnight success because they went from obscurity, you didn't know who they were, and then all of a sudden you did know who they were. But The majority of people who are overnight successes, they've been putting in work behind the scenes. And those are the people who I respect as well, because they've done the legwork. And I feel like they appreciate it more. They value it more, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to secure that dream, to make sure that it lasts very long. Somebody who just, is a literal overnight success, they have an appreciation for it, but it's not a deep appreciation because they didn't have to work for it. Plain and simple. I feel like in pursuing your dream, a lot of people waste time. A lot of people just waste a lot of time. If you think about it, in a given day, how many people are on social media for hours and hours? You say something or you respond to them, they immediately responding, and they respond all throughout the day. It's like, well, when do you have time to do anything? If they're doing their work for somebody else, they're working on another job, and they're spending all this time on social media, or they're spending all their time watching TV. It's like, when do you have time to do anything for yourself? When do you have time to put in the work to make your dreams come to pass? And it's sort of that lazy mentality. I can't cope with. It's one thing to have a dream and say you want it to happen, but it's another to actually do the legwork to make it happen. You have to do that. We expend so much energy watching other people pursue their dreams that we neglect ours. We don't have the energy, the time, the money, the whatever, the commitment to pursue our own dreams. I remember one time I was sitting at home. I like to watch like 90s sitcoms. And I remember one day I was just sitting down like watching a marathon. I was like, I just spent 8 hours watching other people living out their lives on film, or pursuing their dreams or doing their work. What did I do today? And I'm not saying that you can't let go and do, just have those mindless days where you just want to be entertained, but it's like, I kind of felt bad because I was like, what did I do for myself today? I watched somebody else for 8-9 hours. What did I do for myself? And I think it's very important when pursuing your dreams is that you have to take stock of what's important and what's not important and what you're willing to sacrifice. And for me, I rarely watch TV now because I'm so busy doing my own thing. That's what takes up my time. For those individuals who are afraid to go all in to pursue their dreams, then they have to be, they should know that they don't have to. They can take it, like, how do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece. That's how you eat an elephant, piece by piece. You don't take a whole elephant. You can't even lift up an elephant and put it in your mouth. You cut it up and you eat it piece by piece. And so while you may not be ready to jump full throttle in your whatever it is that you want to pursue, your dream, you take little mini baby steps. And so if you have to work that 9 to 5 to make sure that you're paying your bills, then continue doing that. But when you're off from that job, make sure that your next job kicks in, which is to pursue your dream. A lot of you have dreams to go back to school. You might be in your 40s or 50s or 60s. You might be in your 70s or 80s. I would never tell anybody not to pursue a higher education. Or even if it's not a college, some of you want to go back and get like your GED. Do it. I'm a big proponent of education. I love education. I value education. I will never be one of those people, even though there are people who have experienced success without education, that's not all education is for. Education is to educate you so that you ingest that knowledge that can never be taken away from you. And so I'm a big advocate of that. And so even if you're 60, 70 years old and people are saying, what the hell are you going back and doing a GED for, or going to get an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, I would always encourage you to go and do it. Don't listen to people, because at the end of the day, if it's going to take you a year to do it, a year is going to go by anyway. A year is going to go by anyway. Someone might say, it's going to take you 2 years to do your master's degree. 2 years are going to go by anyway. So why not, at the end of the 2 years, have something to show for it? Time flies. Time absolutely flies. So pursue the thing that is in your heart. So I had 2 episodes canned, and I was going to run a different episode this week, but I absolutely changed my mind because I just felt something in my heart saying that I needed to do this video. And I know whenever I feel very convicted to do things like that, it's not the ceiling, it's God. It's God. I want to say that it doesn't matter what your age is. I've seen so many people have amazing, beautiful second acts in their lives at a later age, and I'm glad that that happens, because I think we place a lot of emphasis on youth and saying that something can only happen in your 20s or your 30s or your teens, and that's just not the way life works. Some second acts happen in your 50s, they happen in your 70s, they happen in your 80s. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because there are so many people who feel down because they can't, they can't experience the very thing that they want to experience. They feel like they can't pursue their dream, and then they see somebody else who's their same age attaining that goal, and it gives them inspiration, it motivates them. And so I feel like that's why God sort of holds it back from other people, so that when it does hit, it's more of an inspiration for other folks. So it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what your nationality is. I'm not even American. I'm an American. I'm Bahamian. It doesn't matter where you were born. I don't care if you were born in Mexico, Haiti, Russia. You can have some amazing opportunities. And so I think in studying dreamers and doers, I've seen, at least for the people who I respect, the people who I look to for guidance and inspiration, I see that there's a bit of a recipe for their success, and I agree with it. And so I want to share that with you. The first thing is, and I'm a believer, so this is always going to be number one. If you're not a believer, that's fine, but I am. But I like to let God guide me in whatever it is that He wants me to do. That's always number one. Even if I want to do something, I have to consult Him. And when I don't consult Him, I pay for it dearly. So number one, definitely I've seen people who I respect are very in tune with God and letting Him order their steps. So that's definitely number one. Number two, you just have to bite the bullet and be fearless and not care what people say or think about you. You have to know what you think and what you feel and what you can live without and what you can live with moving forward in your life, because no one is going to live your life but you. And so you have to definitely be fearless in this journey. Number three, I think you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if comfort is paramount in your life, then don't pursue your dream. Live an ordinary life. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm not. But this is the way life is set up. You go to school, you get your job, you stay on your job whether you're happy or not, and you retire and you get your money, you do whatever you want to do after that, right? But I feel like the people who change the world are the ones who are like risk takers, and they're comfortable being uncomfortable. So you're definitely going to have to be uncomfortable. If that's not cool enough for you, no judgment, don't do it. Live your life as you see fit, because it's your life. I think you're going to have to be a little crazy, a little unconventional. You're going to have these dreams that would just kind of make people go, what? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? You have to be a little bit crazy, because I feel like the crazy people are the ones who change the world. Can you imagine all the people who came up with inventions during their time, and people go, what? You want light, what, in a light bulb? You want a plane to fly and take people from point A to point Z in how many hours? What? You want a car? What's a car? All these inventions that we take part in every single day or we use were all thoughts, ideas in somebody's head. And I'm sure they were surrounded by a bunch of naysayers. You may have a wonderful idea for an invention, and you think this is just brilliant and this would totally revolutionize this industry or change the world. I just don't know where to start. Just start. And again, let God guide you and order your steps and tell you where you need to be, what you need to be doing. Once you trust Him, I feel like He opens supernatural doors, and He will put the right people in your path to make your dreams come to pass. And I think in pursuing your dreams, sometimes your back has to be up against the wall a little bit. When you've got nothing else to lose, you just go for it. You just go for it. So I think sometimes it comes down to survival. When people have their backs against the wall, they'll do whatever it takes to make whatever it is that they're doing come to pass. So again, let me know down below if you enjoyed this conversation. I didn't want to ramble too long. I think I've already talked quite a bit. But like I said, this was a topic that really just, after watching that Tamron Hall show, that really that impacted me. And I'm so happy that gentleman shared his journey and his story with the world, because it really affected me. And I wanted to have that conversation with you guys. So I hope that you will take a lot of the things that I said to heart. And again, give me comments down below. Let me know, what's in your heart if you want to share that. The very thing that you want to pursue, what's it been like, dealing with family members, because sometimes they're the most difficult people. They're the first barrier, they're the most difficult people to get through too, because they know you and they think they know you, but they don't know you and what you want to pursue and who you are and deep down. So that's always a very tough thing to do. And tough people to deal with. But I want to know how you guys feel and what you've gone through in your life down below. Please follow me on Instagram at This Bahamian Gyal, my blog www.thisbahamiangyal.com. I'm also on Facebook at This Bahamian Gyal. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I am definitely branching out on my channel. I enjoy doing the makeup tutorials and the clothing, the product reviews and clothing, modeling the clothing. That's like fun stuff. That's like the girly dress up stuff. Besides doing like the skits, I love having conversations with people. Even though you guys can't talk back to me right now, but you can talk to me in the comment section. These things, the ability to change someone's mind, or to at least get them to think and to open up the conversation. Those are things that really that I'm attracted to. I really love doing stuff like that. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, you can reach me right down below or on social media. Please don't forget to reach out. I'm always happy to talk to you guys. So I'll see you guys next week, and thanks again for watching. Love you. See you next time. Bye.